Right. So thank you very much for joining here with me today. And if not, you are watching this on replay, I'm very excited to be sharing with you guys the three mindset shifts in order to have it all. I've been talking so much about having it all, and I think it is time for me to really unravel about how exactly do you get there. And I think one of the most biggest myth that people have about having it all is that they think that you gotta have it in physical items. You gotta have lots of money, you gotta have lots of wealth, you gotta also have, the big car, the fancy houses that constitutes to having it all. But in actual fact, before the physical manifestation of that comes in, there is a very big shift in the internal version of yourself, the mindset, the internal version about how do you think, how do you act? Are you that version who counts every little cent, or are you that person who is generous? Because the person who is of a different level to have it all definitely doesn't scrimp or doesn't stress over the slightest thing, or they have to let go of a certain set of perfectionist syndrome, for example. So, as we actually lead up and we are down to less than 48 hours to the rhythms of parenting, where I will actually talk about the top three challenges of being a mompreneur, I decided to come in and share about how do we have or it all and through what mindset shifts. I have a lot of experience, with regards to the things that people say growing up, people telling me, friends telling me, society conditioning, or people actually sharing, and even sometimes the closest people around you doubt whatever that you're doing, because I was on this journey to wanting to have it all. I wanted to have a successful family. I also wanted to have career at the same time. I wasn't satisfied with letting either of side go. So along the way, many people tell me that I'm selfish, I am too greedy, I am not willing to compromise, I'm being difficult. I have heard all of these already. But I'm still on this journey to have it all because I think deep down to the core of my values and to my passion is that I truly believe a woman deserves and is worthy to have it all. She doesn't just have to sacrifice her family to climb the career ladder, and she doesn't have to sacrifice her career just to bring up very wholesome kids. I truly believe that as women, especially women in this modern society, we have the opportunities to break mental barriers. We have the opportunities to have financial freedom and playing around with time and energy so that we also give the very best to our kids. But there has to be three most important things that one has to know before you have it all. And the first one that I'm going to dive into is that there are different timings for different seasons in life. And I speak about that very truly because right now I'm pregnant. In fact, I'm going to deliver very soon. And I can tell that there was a big shift between my first pregnancy and the version in my second pregnancy. In my first pregnancy, I was very worried. I was always thinking about money. I was thinking about how much this pregnancy is going to set me back in career, how much time I'm going to lose. And then when I go back into the that back then self-employed still, but still having to climb up all over again, I have to climb up the ladder all again. So to me, being pregnant, having kids felt like a losing game. And not to say that I didn't enjoy my first child, I really did. However, going through that first pregnancy, the mindset was very different from second pregnancy, which is why I was very insistent and I was very intentional on leading the best second pregnancy that I can ever have. And I think right now at, closing to 37 weeks, I have truly lived that. I have really truly lived to really enjoy inside out of pregnancy because it is a gift. It is a gift from God, it is a gift from universe that man can't have this experience. But why is it treated so, in a way, such a fearful zone for many women, is that they fear that money and career is something that they desperately have to hold on to when they are pregnant. It can be a form of identity. It can be a form of, oh, when I go back to work, I will lose a lot of time as compared to my peers. I have to, get up on the appraisals. I have to get on recommendation letters as compared to my non-pregnant counterparts or my non-married counterparts. So this is something that many people are extremely attached to, and they hold on to every single minute of the day, making their pregnancy very stressful, making their maternity as well as going back into the workforce for the ladies very stressful. So one thing to be sure is that you can have it all, but it is not necessarily all at once. I repeat, you can have it all and surely you are entitled to. Oh, yay, hi, news ads. Yes, you are surely entitled to. Don't worry about it. But it's not necessarily all at once. This is why there's different timings for different seasons in life, and this is particularly relevant for women. Because here we are on the journey, we get pregnant, we have kids, there are times where we have to devote more of ourselves to our kids. But there will be a time where we can climb up the ladder as well. There will be a time where we can find our place in the workforce. There will be a time where we can break through money as well, right? And at the end of the day, aren't we having it all? But it's not necessarily all at once. And there is a fine line between ignoring it and feeling, that nasty feeling inside of you that feels like you're losing out, that feels that you're behind your game, and truly working on your mindset because you have to be okay with it. It is just our journey of womanhood. It is our journey. If we want to have it all, we have to be okay with sometimes letting go of a certain part of life so that we can focus on a certain area. I go back to focus and clarity, focus on a certain area of life before we come back again. So there is a fine line of ignoring and, I'm okay, I'm fine with my career being set back. But there is a difference when we truly are able to let go of the attachment. And this is something that I really had to work on this year. So again, like what I said, I made the huge shift to let go of my 10 years of insurance career, which I was desperately holding on to when in my first pregnancy. But I realized that for my second pregnancy, if I really want to enjoy it, if I really want to set the grounds for my family, whether it means hiring a full-time helper, training her up, setting up the structure, as well as making sure that my son is very emotionally ready, doing my best to be here for him this year before the baby comes in, there is something that I have to let go of. And I chose to actually put money, I chose to put my career kind of like not so important because I have had good years. I've had good years, especially the moment I sent him to daycare. I was, working on my insurance business. I was setting up a coaching business that very year, which of course made me a lot of extra income. I was also going through my own personal development, doing coaching support groups, having a whole network of support. I have had close to 2 years of that. And this is the time for me to really lean back and set up for a much longer game. So this is why you gotta be okay with it. You gotta be okay that you can have it all, but not necessarily all at once. And this is one thing that I really would love to share for women, especially right now, if you are pregnant or if you are thinking of being pregnant, but you're kind of fearful about it because I have to let go of my career, I have to let go of money. It is a season of life. And once again, it is something to do with the fear of not having. That's why we have to, we must, we should have our career, set up there as though like we are non-pregnant and yet we are pregnant at the same time, like it doesn't make sense. So if anybody is actually wanting to have and be fully at ease with having it all and being okay with it, there has to be very strong internal work in terms of mindset shift, in terms of belief system, in terms of understanding whether those things that, oh, I need to have money all the time, I will be, left behind if I'm pregnant, the motherhood is going to set me back, all this mumbo jumbo about motherhood being a burden, is it truly yours? Or is it imprinted from somebody else? It can be the things that people say, it can be out of fear, it can also be probably the things that you saw your mom behaving around motherhood as well. So if anybody really wants to have sustainable results, and I mean sustainable results in the sense that you are not, just pushing through the fear and then afterwards you'll be like looking back and saying that and then changing your mind after that. I'm saying that really permanently having a shift in mindset, there has to be the internal work being done. There has to be what I call releasing of past conditioning belief system, which of course I cover that deeper in my own coaching. But I kind of like mentioned that briefly in the time freedom guide because these are the things that are wasting your energy. They are wasting your time. Spending time on negative thoughts only depletes more energy out of you. All right. So that is the first thing. Number one, different timing for different seasons in life. Secondly, having it all requires the mindset upgrade first, then the physical comes after. And what are the kind of physical I'm talking about? Money is actually the last thing that will catch up. You have heard of things like there's the law of attraction, right? And having it all, like what I said, requires the internal shift in your belief system before you start having things like, a lot of clients coming in, and then, your business taking to the next level, your career going on to the next level, and then, of course, showing up on your bank account. The truth is that, do you have the capacity to hold both the darkness and the light? For example, if you really, really want a lot of money and you really want to have a successful family, are you okay with imperfect days? Are you okay when the kids are screaming or when your husband picks a fight with you and you can brush it off coolly like it's okay? And I don't mean again stuffing it down. I mean truly being non-triggered. Because if you are the person who still insists that your kids have to be in perfect behavior, or if a quarrel with your partner completely screws up your day and you carry that negative energy through your day, you are not at that version who is having it all. Because the person who is having it all focuses on the 80% of things that are working well and accepts the 20% which are imperfect. I repeat, the person who is okay and having it all focuses on the 80% of things that are working well in their lives, their health, their relationship overall, and doesn't stress over the 20% when the husband comes back to pick a fight, probably picks a fight one day out of 7 days, but they don't make a big hoo-ha out of it. The kid actually has a meltdown, but they're able to hold the tension. They're able to hold the emotional meltdown for the kid. Are you that version who has the capacity to hold both sides of it? So a lot of people always talk about, I want to have a lot of money, I want to have a fancy car, I want to have like my career is soaring, and yet at the same time, I want my to be extremely close to the kids. Are you okay to sometimes letting go of periods of time that of your career where you have to focus on your career a little bit more, but your kids are okay? Or are you trying to do both at the same time? So the most important thing is to be emotionally resilient through the storms. This means when people fight with you. This means when triggers show up. This means when suddenly your bank account drops. Are you okay to hold on through that? Or are you so triggered or you start stressing out and you start going into this hustle fever? Because if it is, you will never get to that level where you have it all. So having it all again, it is a mindset upgrade first before the physical catches up later. And again, I am having a highlighted topic in my Rhythms of Parenting talk this coming Saturday, where I will talk about three things. It is time challenging to be a mompreneur. You can't make money out of being a mompreneur. And in life, you just have to choose. So I'll be happy to actually share about these three challenges that many mompreneurs face. And 99% of them, in fact, after they say that, oh, I want to I'm having a big decision. I'm going to quit my job and, I'm going to really make money out of my passion. 3 months, 6 months in, they give up and they go back to hustling, or they go back to saying that this is not for me because their internal system was not built to be resilient. Their internal system was built to look for external validation, to look for clients. Otherwise, if the husband actually says that, oh, you're not making money, and then they feel like, yeah, you're right, I'm not making money. This is, such a waste of time, and I will give up. But the true person who has internal resilience is the person who says that no matter what, I'm sticking to this until I have a breakthrough. So you gotta have that internal emotional resilience through the storms when people telling you that, this is doubtful, when people telling you that this is a waste of time, and all these naysayers, but you stick to your guns, you stick to your belief system. I'm going to make or break this. Okay, so that is the second mindset. And lastly, having it all, especially 360-degree success, which means in terms of health, money, career, family, is going to take place in unconventional ways. Why I say unconventional ways? Because the society is used to, and in fact, 80 to 90% of the society is very used to what we call a lack mindset. It's very used to sacrificing time for your career so that you can focus on your family, or you will end up foregoing time with your family so you can build your career. This is how conventional success is. However, if anybody wants to have health, wealth, career, time, energy, family, you have to do the unconventional in order to get unconventional results. It's the truth, isn't it? I think Albert Einstein actually said before that anybody who actually wants to have incredible results, and they do, I think something like that, incredible results but doing the average things, is crazy. That's wishful thinking. Because if you want to have 360-degree success, there will be a challenge to your belief system. You will be different from other people. You will be that one person out of 100 people who is doing something totally absurd in their eyes. You will be questioned. You will be doubtful sometimes. You will be challenged even in your own self when sometimes you don't see the results. But what do you do at that moment? Do you give up or give in and then just go back to a regular job, somehow telling yourself that this is not meant for me? Or are you going to stick on this path until you have a breakthrough? Because being different is stretching yourself out of comfort zone. And only when we are out of our comfort zone, then can it come unconventional success. So unless we have the mental and emotional toolkit, the internal system, like what I said earlier on in those two mindset shifts, there will be, and anybody will crumble and shake without coaching. And in fact, I built my coaching business when I was being coached. I was being surrounded by like-minded people who also believed in their unconventional success, who also believed that when we actually stick to it's a make or break kind of system, and I was surrounded and being supported strongly by that. I didn't go into this cold turkey. Anybody will crumble and shake because everybody's internal system was not being worked on. We have a lot of past conditioning, a lot of belief system put in by what other people say, and don't be surprised that it sometimes can come from the closest people around you, your parents, your siblings, or even your partner. So if you want to go on this unconventional path, you have to take unconventional actions. And it always works and comes with the internal upgrade, with the mindset shift first before you can see the physical results being manifested. On the other hand, if you're going by a normal path, you will have normal action and normal results. What I mean by normal path, it means working 9 to 5, waiting 10 years later before you get your next increment, your promotion, and then, I think did a reel of this before. Have kids, raise your kids, pay your bills, retire at age 50, and bye-bye to this world. But is that the life that you truly want to live? Or do you want to live something that is so full of experience, so full of savoring the best things in life? And sometimes it also includes the failures in life. Failures, I mean making wrong decisions, so-called wrong decisions. But nothing in life is actually wrong. It's actually about how you extract opportunities. It's actually how you extract learning lessons out of it to be wiser. So be the 1% that 99% of others are not, because only then will you be able to have unconventional success. Otherwise, you're just like any other person, trading in time for more money, working by the hour, or giving up or giving in to your mompreneur dreams and telling yourself that this is not going to work for me. All right. So I hope this really inspires anybody who is actually keeps thinking about having it all. It's like that feeling is really that feeling deep down that when you have to sacrifice your family time, you don't feel comfortable, but yet you also sacrifice your career time, you also don't feel comfortable because you're very highly ambitious. So the only way for somebody, i.e., who actually wants to have a great career and also wants to have a really loving family, it is really to have it all. But like what I said, it is different seasons, different timings. It's gonna take place in unconventional ways. And lastly, it requires a very strong mindset upgrade first before you can see the results being manifested in money or clients or whatsoever in the real world. All right, so a last shout out for Rhythms of Parenting happening Saturday, 2nd December. Together with Muse Arts and the Mindful Parent, we are actually going to talk about how music helps develop for babies' development. We're actually also having a free online musical babies class, and Michelle from the Mindful Parent is going to talk about how babies see the world. And for me, it's about my mompreneur journey and the challenges of being a mompreneur. So if you are somebody who have been thinking about mompreneurship, who have tried, but oh my God, it feels so difficult, then you absolutely gotta watch this and tune into the free webinar. All right, see you.